a non-wrestler and make him a wrestler as an adult. It's not impossible, but it's certainly tougher to take a striker and make him a great wrestler than it is to take a wrestler and make him a great striker, really.
Got it. Thank you. Pat, pleasure to speak with you, sir.
Yeah.
So born and raised in Iowa. So I'm going to go a little bit more local with my question.
Okay.
It wasn't until I actually left Iowa and joined the military that I learned about catch wrestling on my own independently. So I just realized that there was a statue of Frank Gotch that was recently brought up in Humboldt, Iowa, which is his hometown, which is a stone's throw away from where I was born and raised. Are you aware of any resurgence or renaissance and interest in catch wrestling in particular to go on top of Iowa's already very well-known fanaticism with wrestling?
Well, I think, the explosion of the UFC kind of did that for us to a certain extent in MMA, because it gave an outlet for wrestlers to go to that. So, like at my gym, even though I was a black belt in BJJ, I'm always going to be a catch wrestler because I'm always going to combine wrestling and submissions and all those things, right? So it's always going to be a hybrid where we were putting in the wrestling, the freestyle, folk style wrestling, the sambo leg locks, some of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and tying all these things together with the catch, and that made us catch wrestlers, right? It just made us catch wrestlers. And so I think all those years back when I was fighting and all the other guys, that they would put those 3 bullet points of told the crowd what you were all about.
Yeah.
Most of those guys had in those 3 or 4 bullet points, all-American wrestler or whatever, which inspired a lot of kids, to wrestle. I mean, for God's sakes, wrestling is huge in Texas now because of it, right? So we've seen a huge resurgence of that. And I think it's important for people. And I always tried to say, back when the Gracies in the 20s, when Helio Gracie was doing his thing, well, the boys in Iowa and Minnesota were crushing the Terrible Turks and all those guys, right? So it's important it's very important history for people to understand.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Pleasure speaking with you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Pat. Good to see you again. Brian from Grappling Mastery. You were just in Orlando.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just had a quick question. We get people that want to compete in MMA all the way down to just want to defend themselves. And we have a lot of great takedowns that we could teach them. And some people struggle. What do you think if I had to pick one takedown? What's the number one takedown to teach somebody and get them to drill over and over and over that you think is going to be effective for anywhere from self-defense, MMA, jiu-jitsu tournaments, anything?
I would say, to be honest with you, singles into knee taps.
Singles into knee taps
are the easiest takedowns to hit on any human being. I mean, I can tell you this, that there wasn't very many guys on the entire planet that could ever take Matt Hughes down, for instance, in his prime. The only takedown I could get him with was a knee tap. That tells you how effective knee taps are, because the human body, when you hit a hard single with your forehead, hitting the sternum, blasting on that single, and then hitting a knee tap out of that, the human body's just not built to absorb 45-degree attacks, right?
The direction change. Yeah. All right. That was pretty easy then. What about okay, so here's one more then. Maybe a little harder. If you wanted to take a jiu-jitsu guy and bring him into wrestling and catch wrestling, what do you think the number one MMA fight would be as an example of a catch wrestler doing well in MMA and showing what catch wrestling can do?
I think Hughes. I think Matt Hughes was, really did it so well because his striking was not great, but he was able to impose his will on people with his style, that blend again of submission and wrestling together. And that, look, that also takes some serious strength, some serious power. I mean, there's not very many pound for pound, there's just not very many human beings out there. So you got to work on your explosiveness. You have to work, so grapplers, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, not as a whole, but a lot of them, because that's what they started with in martial arts, and their athletic endeavors many times, coming from other sports, not wrestling.
Mhm.
That tendon strength, that explosiveness, that endurance, that nonstop attack mentality. It's not bred into BJJ, right? It's a
Right.
lay back and play that game thing.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, if it's especially a real fight, and you've got a really powerful, aggressive person putting it on you, I mean, you can only absorb so much abuse. So being able to scramble with people, things like that, all of those things are really important. But Hughes definitely did that style, the catch as catch can, probably the best out of anybody.
Nice. I agree. Cool. Good. I got another person.
Hey, thanks for the time, Coach. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask, coming from a background of helping bring a lot of wrestlers into the MMA and striking game, those guys who came from a boxing, kickboxing background and had success or gave them a hard time, what do you think was the key to them in being able to, survive against guys with a strong grappling background?
I think good defense when they do get taken down, survive, being able to survive, tie people up, and you got to remember, strikers, kickboxers, boxers who spend time in MMA and MMA gyms end up being on their back a lot, right? So they get good at being on their back and surviving. So that's something that, people have to, and also most of the time, the wrestlers that had problems were terrified to be standing up, right? So every time a guy can escape from you and get back to his feet, the wrestler's always terrified, right? He's scared to get, nobody wants to get knocked out on, TV or in front of his friends and his family and things like that. So, but being able to survive the initial onslaught of a wrestler, that's really where they, are able to thrive, right? And get back up and use a lot of feints and fakes when they are on their feet, because then you got a wrestler flinching, shooting from a distance, confused constantly on what's real, what's not, all those things playing into that whole game.
Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let me get this. What's up? What's up, Pat? What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Chicago?
Yeah, you called me a gangbanger. You asked me if I was GD or BD. Remember that? And I told you I'm not from 63rd, so I'm a GD. Okay. Hey, Joe. So, hold on. I had questions on my phone. Hold on, because I thought you were gonna be here. So, remember you said about being conservative with your defense, and you just having this parry really close. You weren't using long guard. So, like, is there a reason why you don't want to use long guard?
You mean my arms out here, way out here, parrying?
No, like, let me see. Hey, come here. Let me see. I wasn't talking to you like, wait, Morgan, come here. I want you to show me a video on video. Yeah. Cameo. Like that. Like you right here, you don't do a long guard like this. You just like parry, flip. So
No,
I should.
I will put my arms out further, but I never stick my arm all the way out straight. I just don't, because it's, for me, with my arm completely out straight, it's a little too far out. I don't have the joint bent a little bit to be able to react better and things like that. Arms out straight, fundamentally, just I can't use them from there besides to defend. I want my limbs to be defensive and offensive at the same time. So that's the only thing, is that's why I never do that.
Okay, so that means you don't throw the looping hooks. You just throw tight hooks too.
Oh no, I'll throw a looping hook. I will, based off of fake jabs and things like that.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
throw like a Mexican hook over somebody's cross, though. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice seeing you too. Hey, don't be shouting. Like, get out.
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Hello.
I wanted to get your opinion as a coach. If you have new guys going into their amateur debuts or whatever, how much hard sparring should a fighter have?
I mean, I generally, as a rule, would never let people go into an amateur bout unless they had about a year experience in the gym.
Okay.
That was kind of minimum for me because I saw a kid die in a kickboxing match in Chicago who was not my athlete.
Yeah.
I was simply there as a special guest, and I was one of the people that had to climb in the ring to give him CPR to try to save him.
Right.
So for me, super important for kids to have really, really good fundamentals, and they definitely should have spent some time not getting beat up necessarily, but they should absolutely be able to take care of themselves, when they're tired, still have good fundamentals, all those things, and be in good enough condition that they're not going to have. You never want to have to call somebody's parents and tell them that their kid got hurt severely,
Right.
like, right. So that was my goal, to never have to call somebody's parents and say, hey, your kid's in the hospital because I was a shitty coach, right?
Got you.
Yeah.
So once a guy is more experienced, say he's had a couple bouts, he's at pro level now, he's had a couple pro fights. How much hard sparring do you think they should have, if any?
Oh, I mean, look, with modern MMA, I see a lot of sparring without headgear, with MMA gloves, with all these things. Look, put on 16-ounce gloves, put on a headgear, shin pads, pad up correctly, and go fight speed. Go fight
Got
speed.
you.
And look, I should still be, if I'm setting my takedowns up well enough with my striking, I should be able to blow you off your feet wearing 16-ounce gloves and shin pads and all of that. That's, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but we always focused on keeping people healthy. Guys had there was a lot of money on the line at the time, not as much as now, but that's how they were making their living. I had to get them to their fights in good condition.
Right.
Without cuts, without all the bullshit that can happen, eye injuries from wearing MMA gloves, from getting poked in the eye, and all the other stuff. So we were big proponents of, padding up and going hard, and that was,
Absolutely.
once a week we would do 12 to 15 rounds. And then
Gotcha.
we would go run a hill for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Pat, you are the man. I got one last guy. He's a little newer, so I figured I'd get all the different perspectives
And
here.
then I'd like to say something about nutrition and stuff at the end.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Okay,
Can the big group hear me?
is that
can
a
you guys
yeah,
all-
guy? Yeah,
Okay,
everybody's
cool.
got you. Yep, 100%.
Then
Okay,
I'll
hold on.
talk
I'm gonna
about
get this last guy. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Pat, just a quick question here. I'm
Yeah.
just getting my feet going and
Frank Shamrock. Hey, listen, to all the guys at the seminar, do not let Frank get on his cell phone. If you see Frank on his cell phone, train double him off of his feet and everybody pile on him.
yeah, I'm still on the phone, brother. I just wanted to check in on you, see how your health is doing, how your body's holding up. We talk about hard sparring and long careers and all that stuff. You had a doozy like me, but I just want to check in personally how you feeling, how the body's doing.
I'm doing good now, Frank. I'm doing really good, man. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you're doing well as well.
Yeah, well, I'm living on stem cells now. That's my secret. And I eat that stuff for lunch.
Dude,
That's
we got to
really-
get you on our program, brother.
Yeah, I'll come on and do it. I've literally in the past maybe 6-9 months turned the corner on like back pain with the stem cell treatment. So it's been
Good, dude.
like
Good.
night and day difference. So yeah, it's my
Yeah.
first teaching gig in a long time. So I'm gonna
Good,
spread a little
dude.
speed. Yeah,
Do
but
some
I just want to check in with you, brother, and see how you're doing.
Frank, teach them how to do cartwheels.
That's important. It is. All right, brother. I'm gonna let you go. Give us some love on nutrition.
Peace, buddy.
Yeah, I thought we'd let the new guys have a shot at you, ask some questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, dude. So yeah, let's talk about the stuff that, about making superhumans with regards to food. I mean, this is one of the things I've actually been nerding out with you. I thought I was educated until I started talking to you. You're like so deep on this and on the big ag and all that stuff. I'm just going to turn it over to you. Whatever you want to share with these guys.
All right. Thanks, Jake. So, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing over the past, I I was lucky in terms of because I was sick my entire childhood with respiratory illness and a lot of other things from toxins in the environment and stuff, that I was able to do research and literally heal myself at about age 20, which allowed me to win a world title. And then I used a lot of those same protocols for athletes as well. Really important that you guys understand that 95% of all of our food, I'm sure you're aware to a certain point, at least 95% is grown with synthetic chemicals. So when you grow food with synthetic chemicals, they have no immune system. Therefore, nature is going to kill that crop. I don't care if it's strawberries or blueberries or citrus or corn or beans or anything. Nature is designed to kill what's weak. And so when you grow synthetic plants, they have no immune function. Therefore, you have to kill all of nature in that field, that orchard, that berry farm, whatever it is. And you've got to spray pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, which are warfare chemicals and failed antibiotics. So when you look around America and you see all the illness, the obesity, and everything, that's where it's all starting. Our soil is destroyed. There's no life left in it. And it's very important that you guys understand the substances on the planet that pull the environment, the bad parts of it, out of your cells, repair your damaged DNA, because the environment, the heavy metals, synthetic chemicals damage your DNA and they cause damage. And the genetics, all of us have different genetics, but it affects your genetic expression, which results in immune function. So the best way to put it is immune function is not getting the flu, not getting cancer, but it's also about winning world titles and being a superhuman, right?
So what's the best way for people to get more info? Because I know what a deep well that you have on this. Is it just following you on socials, or what's the best place for people to connect with you on this?
People can find me at Soil Savior 1 on Instagram and ask any questions they want about what they want to do with that. But just know this is that the synthetics and heavy metals are the problem in the environment, and the environment dictates genetic expression and immune function. It's not your genetics. It's not when you see all the technology, the CRISPR technology, the mRNA, the genetic alterations that are happening through these technologies. It was never our genetics, guys. It's always the environment that dictates that, right? And it will affect you differently. All of us get affected. So for Blake Troop, with a lot of toxins in his body, might result in arthritis. For me, it was respiratory illness. For another one of you, it could be mental illness. It could be digestive problems. It's going to manifest differently in all of us because of our genetics. That's where the genetics come in. So don't.
I know a couple of these guys that probably have mental health issues.
Right. But super important for y'all to understand is that it's never going to be you or your children's genetics that are the problem. It is always the environment, the environment, the environment. So super important to look and research on antioxidants and how those affect. But antioxidants, which are all the berries, the fruits, some vegetables, things like that with antioxidant properties, unfortunately now are all being grown with synthetic chemicals, which destroys their ability to heal you, right? So very important to find the pure substances on the planet that can pull those toxins out of your body, repair damaged DNA, and feed your mitochondria, because the mitochondria is the furnace of the cell. Super important that they can generate cellular energy. So all that stuff. I mean,
So guys, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So guys, listen, reach out, Soil Savior 1 at Soil Savior 1 on Instagram. Connect with. I mean, there's nobody who in MMA has made more superhumans than Pat. So you guys want to listen to him. I've got one more newbie. He's new. I wanted him to ask you some questions. Okay, hold on.
Sure. Oh man.
Hi, Pops.
Scariest guy in the room right there.
Absolutely. Well, good to see you. I miss
Good to
you.
see you. Yes, sir.
I've been listening to everybody, and they've been asking some tremendous questions, and the answers are even better. You've been studying this for at least a month. You can tell.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Well, I'm looking forward to. Hey, you said, you had to get some of these good vegetables and fruits and to get rid of the antioxidants. Is there some suggestions out there that things that might be a little better than others?
Yeah, I mean, you can search for fulvic acids that are deposits of nutrients from plants that are, anywhere from 50,000 years old to even older. Those are very powerful. We carry those, and then the organisms, the microorganisms in the soil that used to be plentiful, called extremophiles. Those extremophiles, what used to be plentiful in our food, in our soil, and in our bodies, were what not only in gut health but systemically would monitor even outside and between cells for any toxins that needed to be ingested and converted into essential fatty acids and things like that. So they were designed by, nature or God, however you want to look at it, to convert heavy metals that would work their way into the soil from the crust of the earth into things, colloid minerals and essential fatty acids that provided vitality and life on the earth. So that's what we use is the original, very powerful extremophiles, a collection of them from around the world, from very hostile environments. They're very good at ingesting heavy metals and synthetic chemicals and turning them through enzymatic action into beneficial nutrients. So thereby what we do is we turn poisons into actual beneficial elements.
That's great. Well, hey, I look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes,
We
sir.
missed you. We miss you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Wade. Okay. Hey, Pat, you're the man. I really appreciate you making the time for everybody here. Any parting thoughts for these guys? Let's give a large round of applause for Pat, guys, so you can hear it.
Thanks, guys. Hey, man, train, just enjoy the event, man. Enjoy the event. I apologize I couldn't be there, but enjoy the event, train hard, and find the toughest guy in the room and work out with him.
That's great advice. Guys, let's give it one more round of applause. Thank you so much, Pat. I'll reach out to you afterwards. I'll send you some of this footage, okay, brother?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Talk soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.